Okay, hey, good morning, everybody. So we have a short video today, a short video where we're going to read just a few pages, like 3 pages or so, to give you an introduction to the minor gods, nymphs, satyrs, and centaurs. All right, and then we'll also talk about the Titan Prometheus. Okay, all right, so let's get started right now. I'm at the top of Mount Parnassus here, and behind me is the Oracle of Delphi, or the Oracle at Delphi, a very sacred site here in Greece. All right, so here we go. Minor gods, nymphs, satyrs, and centaurs. Minor gods and goddesses also lived on Olympus beside the 12 great ones. The most powerful of them were the goddesses of destiny, Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. They were the three fates, and they decided how long a mortal would live and how long the rule of the gods should last. When a mortal was born, Clotho spun the thread of life. Lachesis measured a certain length, and Atropos cut the thread at the end of the life. They knew the past and the future, and even Zeus had no power to sway their decisions. Their sister, Nemesis, saw to it that all evil and all good on earth were justly repaid, and all mortals feared her. Man's creator and his best friend was the Titan Prometheus. Zeus had given Prometheus and his brother Epimetheus the task of repopulating the earth after all living creatures had perished in the early battles of the gods. He gave the two brothers great measures of gifts to bestow upon their creations. And they went down to earth and began to make men and beasts out of river clay. Wise Prometheus modeled men with great care in the shape of the gods. Epimetheus rapidly made all kinds of animals. Without any foresight, he lavished the good gifts upon them. When Prometheus had finished shaping man, he found that there were few of the good gifts left. Animals could run faster, see, smell, and hear better, and had much more endurance. Besides, they were kept snug in their warm coats of fur while men shivered in the cold nights. Prometheus was sorry for mankind, and he went to Zeus and asked him if he might have some of the sacred fire for his poor creations. But Zeus said no. Fire belonged to the gods alone. Prometheus. Prometheus could not bear to see his people suffer, and he decided to steal fire, though he knew that Zeus would punish him severely. He went up to Olympus, took a glowing ember from the sacred hearth, and hid it in a hollow stalk of fennel. He carried it down to earth, gave it to mankind, and told them never to never to let the light from Olympus die out. No longer did men shiver in the cold of the night, and the beasts feared the light of the fire and did not dare to attack them. A strange thing happened. As men lifted their eyes from the ground and watched the smoke from their fires spiraling upward, their thoughts rose up with it to the heavens. They began to wonder and think, and were no longer earthbound clods. They built temples to honor the gods, and wanting to share what they had with them, they burned the best pieces of meat on their altars. Zeus was furious when he first saw the fires flickering on earth, but he was appeased when the savory scent of roast meat reached his nostrils. All the gods loved the smell of the burnt offerings. It spiced their daily food of ambrosia and nectar. But Prometheus knew how hard men worked to make their living and thought it a pity that they burned up the best parts of their food. He told them to butcher an ox and divide the meat into two equal heaps. In one were the chops and roasts, hidden under the sinews and bones, like ligaments and sinews, all the gross stuff. And the other were scraps and entrails covered with snow white fat. Prometheus then invited Zeus to come down to earth and choose for himself which part he wanted for his burnt offerings. Zeus, of course, chose the best looking heap. But when he discovered that he had been tricked, he grew very angry. Not only had Prometheus stolen the sacred fire and given it to men, he also taught them to cheat the gods. He resolved to punish both Prometheus and his creations. Cast in unbreakable irons, Prometheus was chained to the top of the Caucasus Mountains. Every day, an eagle swooped out of the sky and ate his liver. At night, his immortal liver grew anew, but every day the eagle returned and he had to suffer again. So imagine him being chained to this big rock on the Caucasus Mountains, and every single day this giant eagle would come down and rip out his liver from his abdomen, and then he may be immortal, but it hurts. He has to go through that pain of having his liver ripped out of his body every single day, and then it would grow anew each night, and then the whole pain would start again the next day. That's pretty bad. That's really bad. Thus was Prometheus punished, but Zeus found a more subtle way to punish the mortals. He sent to earth a beautiful but silly woman. Her name was Pandora. And that's tomorrow's story, Pandora and then the Deucalion's flood. Those are two interesting myths. Anyway, have a great day. We'll see you. I told you it was short. See you tomorrow.